Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome to another session of Chat with Chamindra. And today, this will be actually the last session that I have done, and for the year 2024, and it's a vital one regarding to a very how can I say, it's a very sensitive topic. It's a very important topic, and it's something that people think they want to action, but they usually don't do, right? And today I have to talk about this topic. I have Viraj Samarasekera, one of my mentors, one of my project managers while I was working in previous organizations, and someone I have looked up to in the last few years, who have given me numerous advice in my career and personal life, and someone who has helped me to become the person I am today. So I'm really honored and privileged to have him in my show, and especially at this time of the year, right, before the year ends. I'm really happy that he has accepted my invitation and joined today to have a discussion of a very, as I told you, a very important topic. So before we proceed, let's give a let's get to know about Viraj. And Viraj, over to you. Would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Thanks for the compliment, Chamindra. Yes. So, as Chamindra said, we have been working together for some time, and actually, I, I actually was so privileged of working with him because he was a great worker, right? Understanding person and managed to give his best. So, about me, yes. Uh, so, like I said, I am. Both of us, Chamindra and I, are in the tech industry, or let's say software industry. Uh, so which is a very highly versatile industry, which actually lot of technological innovation, lot of technological know-how we have to have in this industry, and we have to learn very fast, and it is evolving very fast. So my experience in this industry is about, I think, about 26 years. Yes. I joined actually working force around 1996, and from there on, I had been mainly a developer, then was pushed into leading and managing people. So that's me. That uh, the topic, as Shamindra mentioned, will be basically based on managing your finances, which is very vital. As most of us are aware, when I joined in 1996, the the computer industry was very new. When I just passed out from University of Colombo as a computer graduate, specialized graduate, I was basically dragged into my job. The company, I think it was Informatics International Limited, they just interviewed and asked me to just join. So I was one of those fortunate fellows in the early computer industry that was in Sri Lanka. So most of the people were before, I think, around in the pre 2000 uh, and early 2000 year range. They had readily made jobs in the market. They just have to complete the degree, and the job is basically waiting for them. But later on, a lot of people got into the industry, and it changed a lot. I mean, people have to compete. That's a different story. But I was offered a job in a golden plate, and I think, just to put put a new perspective to the what the salary scale I'm getting, my father was a director in Road Development Authority. Was a director. So within 3 years, I was able to match his salary. A director. As a developer, I was able to match his salary. So that was the case then. But comparing those salaries, those are very, I mean, like, it was about, I think, about 25,000, which is nothing compared to this time. But it was well above father's position. Of course, he had other perks, but taking salary into consideration only, I was able to surpass his salary within 3 years. So that uh, gave me a privilege to save early, a huge part of my salary, because uh, I had less expenses. So I saved a lot. That was a, I think it came from, could be, I think it came mostly from my family, because my father was talking about saving. So he was championing saving, so I was saving. Uh, the actually the benefit of that I reaped that after 15 years of working in the computer industry in a different company. That company, which I was working, I think about 11 years, suddenly shut down. It
Hmm.
closed, and we actually managed to uh, get compensation after, I mean, after some negotiations. But the initial time when that was announced, I saw a lot of my friends in that company was feeling lot of really afraid of their future. Some even went to extent of planning to sell their houses.
Lot of anxiety, right?
Yes,
Anxiety.
sell their houses because they were living on their paycheck.
Yeah.
They were consuming their paycheck fully. I was not worried about my finances because I was safe, and and uh, uh, and I was, I took time to find my next job. But other friends were really, they were fortunate because they managed to create a new company and get themselves employed. But I saw that fear initially, and I was quite relieved. Then down the line, after another about another 4 years time, I came to a junction where I had to decide whether to leave my job in another company, because the things were not going as planned. That time also I had quite a amount of savings, and I said I resigned from that job. So why I am telling these two incidents is, this was common then as well. Down the line, this will be very common in the tech field and in any other field, because there will be a lot of disruption to the industry happening. So you need to have an emergency fund. What I call that was an emergency fund, because later on I was researching what was
Yeah.
unique about this situation.
Yeah.
I was researching. Uh, so some people call it the the financial runaway. It's, I think, in a business they say, when there's no income, how long you can run the business without personal finance runner.
Yeah.
Then the saying to have an emergency fund, call that an emergency fund. And I actually think this emergency fund you should have for only this emergency fund, you should have only for career issues that will happen down the line. Any person who is thinking of getting into a job, because right away as a graduate or someone you come into the industry, you will have certain expenses.
Hmm.
You will be earning a little salary, and you can start saving some amount, because your expenses are starting to rise only after the salary comes in.
Come. Correct.
And the interesting part is, there's this thing called, I just remembered in my head, top of my head, there's a thing called that work expands with time. That is Pareto law or something like that, or Parkinson's law, something like that, where it says when you are given ample time, your work expands to fit in that time. Right? If you are given little time, you will somehow do that work. So businesses, or even when you are heading to certain targets, you can use that. Reduce your time, but again you will do it somehow. Give ample time, you will take all the time, you will do
Correct.
all
Correct.
sort of things and achieve the same or very close result. So it applies the same. So that principle applies to the finances as well. If you have a lot of money in your bank account, and if you see, you'll spend.
Definitely. Yeah.
So that is the problem. Moment you get the salary, you have to somehow, like, taking into consideration that law, Parkinson's law. I think. Yeah. Yeah. You have to reduce the amount that you're spending. Take away something and keep it up.
So that is something that, I mean, that is a very common situation with everyone, I feel. And sometimes what I feel is this, I think I'm also a victim of that. I should say, because it's human, right? Because sometimes you have some things. Now, what a theory that we bring is we live only a few years. So why don't you spend that time being happy? You buy things that you want. You spend money, but you forget that you have to got to live a few more years, right? When you lose the money, there are things that you need to do. You don't have any savings to achieve that. That's one point. And another thing is, we remember all the expenses that we need to spend when we have money. When we don't have money, we forget all those expenses. But when we have money, we tend to see, there are some renovations we need to do in the house. We need to buy this. We need to do this. I mean, those things happen because we forget about the fixed costs. We think about the variable costs only sometimes. We forget the fixed cost, that because the fixed costs, although those are fixed, the value won't be fixed. Those will increase over time, right? Let's say very simple things: the electricity bills, or the cost of goods, the vegetables, and those things. We are facing those situations at the moment, right? Everything is high. So people tend to forget that, and you don't keep that saving ready, and to spend according to that situation. I think it's a human basic nature, and I think it's high time, coming into a new year. I mean, that's we preach every year, but that's something we don't practice. But as the times are getting tougher and tougher each year, I think this is something you need to focus more on, right? Isn't it, Viraj?
Yes, that's right. I just want to add another thing.
Yeah.
The two events. It's basically company closed down, you lose your job, or you don't like
Yeah.
the job and you have to resign from. That will happen to some people down the line. Then there was a silent killer. Even I wasn't prepared. Right. So that's why I after that only I started deeply going into this subject. If you reflect back in the tech industry, we had some great opportunities. COVID came,
Yes,
we managed to work from home.
correct.
The people suffered. People who had to be in the office really went through bad time, right? Then in the tech field, next what happened was the tax was reduced, previous government. So we got a windfall of uh, money in, right? Then, then the other thing, next thing that happened was the economic downturn, like Chavindra mentioned, which actually increased the cost of living 3 times. I think most of the goods were gone 3 times. Then, then the other thing was the tax component also increased in that.
Yes,
I can recollect people were going on streets shouting and going various kilapalis and saying they can't live. But in the software industry, I think in the tech industry, we most of the industry we which get in foreign exchange also managed to avoid that by getting a foreign FX, foreign exchange allowance, right? I also actually became quite uh, spending on that. I mean, like I was also spending a lot because of that. Those few events. So what I am actually saying is you should have a uh, uh, emergency fund only to use only to use when you lose a job, or when you kick out a job and go out. There are two options, right? Or else when your expenses go up due to external things, and this the emergency fund, when you dig into that emergency fund, you should treat that as a trigger to warn yourself to do something to increase your income. That will be a trigger, because moment you put your hands onto that emergency fund, that should remind you you have to do something with your income. Either you have to cut down your cost or increase your income. Either you have to go for a promotion, or you have to find a new place which gives more income.
yeah,
So again,
yeah,
sorry.
we talked about a lot of issues related to work and all. But just imagine uh, you're getting sick, right? You get a permanent illness or something. You get sick for sometimes, and you don't have the ability to work. How are you going to find an income to, provide? If you are the provider of your family, how are you going to provide to your family, right? So those are things, because I mean, our lives are very fragile, right? We don't know what happens tomorrow, and how things are quickly changing. I mean, it's changing very rapidly. I mean, from you see how the tech world is changing. A lot of with AI and everything is coming, and like that, our lives are also changing a lot, right? So things are changing a lot. So you have to be ready for everything, and in the end, your finances will the only thing that will help you to stay stable, live the quality of life you want to live. True, I think you might agree with that. Once in a while it's okay, you need to spend the money, and you have to enjoy life as well, right? Once in a while, because I mean, we are not hermits, no, to live in a cave and just to live like that, because you need to give that. I mean, if you're having little kids, and family. You have to make them buy something for them and make them happy you because they look up to you for that, right? And sometime when our parents were able to, they brought us something and to make us happy. And if you're not giving that back to your kids, you're being very selfish, right? I know it will long term they will not understand, but when for a child they will not understand when they are very old. So, but still in their childhood, you have to give them that small space of freedom to be happy. Even a small meal will make them happy, right? If you're buying from them, so you have to spend that, but you have to be very vigilant on how you are spending. If you're recording that, you're just wondering where are your expenses, and if you see there's a trend, you have to. If it's a bad trend, I think it's better to cut that down and leave it. I think you might agree on that with us. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So, yeah, I partly agree on that. When you, this is how I feel, this is how I practice. When you take away some portion of my, not the whole amount, let's say 10%, which is not a big amount, right? You you get a salary and you take 10% and put it away as your emergency fund. So within 10 months, you have a salary. Yeah, you can put it in a fixed deposit and let it grow. Like that, you can take 10% out and keep on collecting till it build up. Let's say 2 months, 3 months, 6 months is perfect. 1 year is great, right? You must do that because if you are, yeah, life happens, fall sick, then of course again our income will get affected. Yes, we have to then do something with the uh, our emergency fund that is there. When we treat our kids, wife, spouse, parents, we should try to manage it from that 90% that salary. Let's say
Not the
you want,
emergency fund, you're saying. Yeah,
yeah,
right,
that
correct.
is that is it. 90% is there. Like you, let's say you want to buy a car, then you take another 10% out and start saving that, right? And see whether your 10% of you taking out for your emergency fund will get affected if you go for a loan to buy the car, right? That 10%, that loan component also should be included in your 10%. In the sense, I mean, like, let's say you lose your job or you job is lost. Let's say if you have 6 months of salary with you, you'll be able to pay that loan component as well from that amount, because that salary component that you're taking out and later on calling your, trying to build it up as many salaries as possible to yourself, that should include all your expenses, unavoidable expenses, right? You have to eat, you have to, let's say, your needs, not your wants, right? Your needs are like you must have your meals, buy grocery, educate your kids, right? Then yeah, take them for meals, entertain them. Yes, you can include that as well. And especially our people, a lot of people forget about the loan components that they have to pay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Those also should be included in that. Your expenses, your needs. There are two, when it comes to finances, there are two things: your needs and wants. Needs are, you can't, if you try to compromise on your needs, you will have a lot of, you will suffer a lot.
Yeah.
When there's a loan component, yes, if you don't pay, there'll be a lot of problems. right? And if you cut down on on your meals, yeah, that will also affect your health, right? So those components are come under needs. Then there could be wants. You go, let's say, you go on a fancy trip. It'll cost me 5 day trip. So those are wants. Right? Then you can compromise on them in a different way. I think you can select the locations, or you can, you can still go on that trip with different budget, right? So those things can be compromised without any, I mean, like, without affecting the quality that you're going to have. So there's two components, what is called needs and wants. And I totally agree with Chamindra. We have to record our finances, the transactions we take. Do There are apps, free apps available in, you can download. I use a free app called Buddy, which I have been using about for 10 to 15 years. But there are other better apps. Since I got used to this thing, I'm not venturing into other ones. There are online apps, mobile apps, and you can even consider, even you can use, I think there are free Excel sheets as well, templates, which you can easily use. Then when you record them, you will find out, oh, your spending habits, where you can cut down. Like I said
So,
before, when there's a lot of money, you feel like spending. So the trick is, take a portion of it and keep it away so that you can't see. It's a human nature, right? When you have a lot of time, you are idle. I
yeah.
mean,
So,
yeah, you do the job in a jolly good way
yeah,
and deliver very similar result. There's nothing better, also. I mean, like, compared to that, when you are talking about time, Parkinson's law, right? So same thing applies to money.
yeah. Another point I thought was this something most of the people do, I think. When you're spending on wants, a trip or anything, after you're done, you say you sometimes feel a sense of regret. Oh, I spent that money to that. Why did I go? They think like that. You should not do like that also. If you are
Yeah,
spending that, you should not worry about it because that's past is past, right? You have already spent it and you had taken a firm decision. I'm going to spend it on that. So after you do that, you should not have regrets also. That's
right.
something most of our, I mean, many people do these days because of, I think it's basically because of the economic downturn, something that we can't change. But it's, I guess, again, you can't change those things, what is external to you, but you can control what you're doing internal, right? What you are doing. It's that self, what you call control that is important in these kind of situations, especially when it comes to financial spending, I feel.
So you came to a correct, interesting area, which I'm now exploring these days.
Mm,
Mm, it's called psychology of money.
mm,
Initially, I actually thought, if you know the skills, that's it. But as I studied more about this subject, money seems to be generating emotions. Money seems to be uh, waking up our past ghosts, I would say. So, for when you talk to some people, that's why I am asking you to record your finances. Then you will probably have a guilt. That means a emotion. Right? You won't feel like recording, right? You want to skip that. You say, I am not good at recording. Those are past goals. who are hiding in our body, or in a different way. The psychology, what we have been taught in our small, when we are small kids, are coming up against our practices. That's a new dimension in money, right? That's why I said record this, and when you record, those things will come up, right? You'll feel regret, you'll feel certain emotions will come. That's the next level. Then you have to deal with that as well, right? Just to adapt why, how money affects, why money beliefs come from past is now. When you as a kid, like you mentioned, sometimes you have to treat your kids. When when a kid wants to buy a certain stuff, I can I also can recollect a event where when I was young, quite young, I think, when I was in teens or pre-teens, I wanted a Lego set. I think it cost a real big amount those days.
Those days.
My father was hesitant, and I can see some emotions going through him. I think it must have
Mm.
cost of that must have eaten up a huge portion of his salary, right?
Yeah.
So he was experiencing certain emotions, and as a kid, I thought he doesn't love me. Right? So this is it, right? So he was hesitant to buy this as a birthday present. So the way I think certain things he said at that time, we actually say some certain things we can't buy, we can't afford, this very expensive, those things are there. So those practices, those words can sometimes negatively impact your kid.
So, mm,
Right? Those will give certain set of emotions, and they
yeah.
will start behaving when they become adults like that. If at home, if people are talking that money is evil, people who have money is evil, this kid, the kids coming from that, will find it difficult, really difficult, to be wealthy, because they will think they will become evil.
Yeah.
Or even if they manage to become wealthy, they'll become evil.
Yeah. True.
So it's a act like that. And I jolly well know there are good people,
Mm.
contribute a lot, who are silently earning a lot and contributing a lot to the society, are there. But they don't hit the headlines. Only the people who do wrong things hit the
Correct.
headlines. We are given sometimes culturally, sometimes religious, also given a bad impression about money. I want to tell money is not evil. The user who's actually using that is evil, or good or evil. That's it. So money is just a tool. It's like a pen to write, and you don't say the pen is evil or pen is bad.
Yeah.
No. But we say that to the money. Culturally, we say that. Probably religiously, we probably say we can have different religions can have different stories around money, taking certain characters in. Those will sadly impact our behavior towards money. So money is sort of a powerful indicator, right? Those things come from our, what do you call, our ancestors, the family. If they talk negatively about money, they can come as a nationality. If we have certain ideas about certain things, that also can pass down as religious beliefs, that also can pass down. So
Mm.
there are several beliefs acting on us, right? When we go after when we try to, you know, uh, enjoy money. Enjoy money means you have for some for you and give to others as well. That's it.
But we also, I think, we forget it's a tool, right? It's a tool.
Yes, it's a tool. That's
We are trying to make it's our life, but it's a tool.
it's a tool like a pen,
Yeah,
eraser.
yeah. I think again, Raj, I feel it's all about the mindset again, right? Mindset. If you can control the mindset and thinking and how to use it, I think you are better off. I feel because I know as human beings we are never satisfied. We talk about in economics as well. We have lot of needs and we are trying to achieve it with a small set of resources, right? That's what modern economics was built on that theory and still applies today. And the people, it will never change because the resources will always get reduced. No, I mean, as the years go by, it will still get reduced, and it's teaching us a vital lesson of how to use the limited resources to the best of your ability and live a quality of life, right? Live a better quality life. And we are living only about 80 to 90 years as well. And for that small time period, we are doing a lot of things. Sometimes it doesn't worth it in the overall, result, right? I'm
Yeah.
becoming a bit philosophical, but money is what it should, what we should. I think you will also agree. It's for a temporary thing. We are wasting a lot of energy and wasting a lot of. I mean, lot of things. Even we are killing people for money, nowadays. So we forget that for a small thing we are doing a lot of wrong things to ourselves and to our kids and kin and our loved ones. I think, isn't it?
So I just want to add example just to highlight how beliefs about money transfer our beliefs, right? Not money. This is how there was an experiment I think done in I can't remember the place. Not this is not regarding money, but it's sort of a trauma. How it affects, how it moves in generations, right? They have come up with a theory how it moves. So for that, this experiment they use some mice, right? Lab rats. Okay. So what they did was first what they did was expose these lab rats to some kind of a cherry smell. So they release that smell. Rats were enjoying that, I would say. Then they didn't a very cruel thing to the rats after that. They gave them an electric shock.
Hmm.
They were really upset, really feeling bad and terrified. Again, they gave cherry smell, again a shock. They did this for several times. And what they did next was only they exposed. Now, when they did it uh, several times, the moment they get the cherry smell, they panic. Still, before getting the shock, they were running here and there. So then later on, they did was they didn't give a shock, but they gave only the cherry smell. This, and after several months, also they when they exposed that cherry smell to the same rats, they were terrified. Then what they did was they got the kids of that rats, right, and then again exposed that cherry smell. They were also panicking. They were not in that experiment, but the kid. And after that, they did another one. Very interesting thing. Uh, they got the grandchildren of and exposed the cherry smell. They were also panicking. Now, some put this as epigenetics, that the trauma is moving through genetics, some mechanism. Right? I'm a little bit familiar, but they gave a theory for that. Like so, but you can see certain generational behaviors, the way way we behaved, way our ancestors behaved in situations have been passed down.
Correct.
So when we look at our history in Sri Lanka, we have a colonial history. We had been under several colonial powers, Portuguese, Dutch, and English. So, and we have been somewhat conditioned, saying we can't do this. That experiment explains all.
Correct.
How it had
Yeah.
passed. Our forefathers experienced some certain limitations and they said they can't go beyond this. And those behaviors, those attitudes have been can be passed down. Then again, if you take a, it explains that if you take a family who does business, their children also do business, right? So those behaviors come down, could come down to several generations. I think they said I think the experiment had done for 7 generations, and they have said it goes to 7 generations. That's long. It's a long way. So that's exposure of some terrible, happy, or sad incident. You can
Yes.
take. So if money is used like that to expose a person to a terrible, happy, or sad one, that could go down as well.
That's the thing. No?
It's the
Mm.
emotional side of money.
True. I think it's that defensive mindset. I feel that comes from generations that comes down to our current generation as well. So Viraj, I think that's the superb things that we talked about. I think yeah, true. I think that is the way. I think a lot of ways we have to change our minds. So to conclude our discussion, what sort of advice do you like to give for the new year for anyone who's listening to this say, video or who's watching this session? Do you like to give some advice? I mean, some directions for them to improve their financial status and how to be a better you know manage of your finances.
Yeah.
To have a better 2025. Yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, the next salary you get, try to save, put off 10% in a different account.
Yeah.
Salary. That try to do that. That will probably generate a lot of emotions. And remember that those
Nothing
emotions,
is easy, but you have to
nothing.
do
Yeah,
it.
you do that.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you can do. Then within 10 months, you have one salary
Yeah.
in your account. You can then put it into a fixed deposit or something. Then another 10 months, you will have another component of your salary. Like that, you can say, right? Have an eye on that thing and see whether it relates to your, I mean, it's same as your salary component. Have an eye on that. Then only dig, then try to expand that to a comfortable level. Someone can say, I just need only 2 months of salary to survive in a downtime. Or others can say, I need 6. Or others can say 1 year. So with that financial runaway, you can do various things. 2 months, you can quickly find a job. 6 months, you can, wait for a while and correct, select the best job. 1 year, you can even do a career change. Can start. You can do that. You can go after your passion if you feel like it, right? So with those options, you get several benefits. That's one. Then you start recording your finances. That will also raise some emotions, right? And keep an eye on that and understand that money can raise emotions. There are various techniques to manage them. I don't want to talk about that here yet, right? We probably have a next session down the line.
Yeah.
And then and identify wants and needs in that expenses. Try to budget thing. I mean, like for groceries, I am going to spend only for a month 30,000 or 60,000 or something, and you try to block it. Try to maneuver through that. You will have some problem. I mean, like it's a behavioral.
Initial first step will be difficult, but if when you practice it, you will be fine, right?
You will be fine. So those are the two things that I just want to advise. And the third thing is the moment you start digging into your emergency fund, take it that take that as a signal. So you may dig up to your emergency fund not to buy a house. No, don't do that.
No, no.
Just a career bad patch. Let's say
Hmm.
you lost a job, you were asked to resign or something like that, or there's an economic downturn and you feel you can't have a quality life. Then you start digging into that. The moment you start taking from your emergency fund, that's a signal. Hey man, hey girl, hey woman, do something to increase your fund. You have to find out possibilities, the opportunities, that and do something.
No.
So those are the three things. Take out 10%, 15% if you can. That's great, right?
Yeah.
Monitor your expenses. Try to find your needs and wants. Try to reduce your wants. And even if I can remember correctly, famous fellow, I can't remember. There was a famous fellow who started building billions of dollars around 60s, in his 50s or 60s. He was also in his early life saving a lot.
Yeah.
And the compound interest gave him a bigger leverage in his 60s.
Hmm.
So you have to do it. You have to save your fund. And moment you dig in, that's a signal you have to act quickly.
Yeah.
Those are the three things. Then you'll probably
You'll
have
be
a
fine.
less stressful career journey or a
Yeah.
life, I would say.
You can be happy, right? That's what
Yes,
you can be
yes, yes.
happy. You're not. You won't. I mean, you will be happy and you will be able to provide to your family and you can be happy about yourself as well. You have done this, and even when you retire, you can say that I've uh, done this and I will save some money for my future generations, and they can have a better life than myself, because that's what we are trying to do. No, most of the time we are trying to make our future generations future better than ourselves. So most of the time we are like doing that, no? Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Right. Okay. That was a very nice discussion, Viraj. I mean, very insightful. And I mean, that's very nice. We had some great ideas shared. I think this is something I think many, I mean, people say who will watch this video might say that these are things that we already know. But what they don't do is they know the things, but they don't practice it. So let this session, I mean, this chat I had with you, be a reminder to them. This is something you need to continue, not just in a new year, but every day. Not in January 1st, but every day you have to do this. And hopefully you will learn these lessons and, carry it forward to have a, because the times will get tough. I mean, uh, what I feel in the past, I used to learn in 2026, there will be a scarcity of food, right? So they now it's just 1 year away. We are in 2025 from, right? So things will get reduced. what you call the things that we have will get reduced, but our wants and needs will always increase. So we have to use what is the resources. We have to make sure how to learn how to use our less resources and be happy, right? That's, I think, that will be the trend for next year, for 2025 and beyond, right? So let's hope this session will be a reminder and, a stepping stone for everyone who's willing to take that journey. Some will not like to take it, but there are ones who will willingly like to take that journey, and this one is for them. And hopefully they will get some idea and learn it from this and move forward. So thank you, Viraj. Thank you so much for joining Chat with Chaman. It was a very privilege and honor to have you once again in one of my shows, and hopefully we can connect in the future with a different topic. Yeah, there's a lot of faces to Viraj as well. So we'll talk about in another session. So thank you very much, and I wish you and all the very best and a very happy 2025 as well, Viraj, to you and your family and your loved ones.
Continue your trend like this. Keep on practicing.
Yeah,
Wish you all the best.
thank you very much. We'll connect again soon then. Thank you very much. Okay then. Cheers. Okay. Bye.
Very good.